Hey, 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 happy Thursday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the grand poobah. That is right, I am the founder and editor-in-chief of The Gaming Gang. So, if this is your first time joining me, let me point out this is a very, very casual show. It is not rocket surgery by any stretch of the imagination. For the most part, we talk tabletop gaming news. So we chat about board games and card games and role-playing games and miniatures. Every once in a while, we'll chat a little bit about maybe PC games, like tonight. Sometimes a little pop culture, but for the most part, it is almost all tabletop gaming news. Anyway, tonight is Thursday, July 16th, 2020. This is episode 515 of The Daily Dope. Do want to remind you, if you like this video, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't. And of course, ring that notification bell if you haven't, if you do subscribe, because it will not only inform you when the Daily Dope streams live Monday through Thursday nights here on YouTube. It'll also let you know when I upload standalone videos, like my review of the Enemy in Shadows Companion that just popped up this week. So, had a few reviews hitting this week. Also, because this is a live stream, that means that there is chat available on YouTube. I got to point out, sometimes there's a few people in chat. Chat flies by pretty quickly. I might miss some things, but I do my best to pay attention to chat. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But I do my best to pay attention to chat. So if you want to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question or a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. So right now, we've got a Gray Day hanging out in chat and mentions that they were looking at the Green Knight role-playing game boxed set, which is based on the movie coming out next month. I am not, well, I know the story of the Green Knight, and I do know the movie that's coming out, is based on the legend of the Green Knight. So, although I got to say, if maybe I'm thinking wrong here, but this movie, The Green Knight, coming out, maybe it's on Netflix, has a very diverse cast. Should be pretty interesting. So, I did not know that there was a role-playing game for it. I gotta wonder, because, a lot of times these licenses don't pan out all that well. More so in PC games and video games, console games, than in tabletop gaming. But you never know. But it is a role-playing game. That's not too difficult to kind of tack on a setting with a core system in place. So a Gray Day says it looks very 1983. Well, if you're a big fan of the OSR, I guess that would be a selling point. Who knows? All right, so let's jump on into the news, because arriving in September from DPH Games, a company I am not familiar with, but they are going to be releasing Inca Empire, the card game. Here's the dope. Become one of the Inca's regional leaders. Every time I see that, I just keep thinking of regional managers. Expand the empire by extending your road system. Build cities to house your people. and construct temples to please the gods. Players take on the role of an Apu, or regional leader. The improvements to their regions are for the benefit of the empire. Sapa, the only one, will only favor the leader who does the best over the empire's 4 eras. In the game, you will be constructing cities and kolkhas. Maybe pronouncing that correctly. Those are storehouses that contain fish, corn, and potatoes between the cities. These are all connected by a road system that players build out from the capital city of Cusco. You can expand your civilization, play city or kolkha cards, build roads, stock storage huts, create terraces for additional power in future rounds, make trade agreements with other players, use extra workforce cards to take special actions, and construct temples. Inca Empire, the card game, is for 2 to 5 players, ages 13 and up, plays in around 60 to 90 minutes, and it will carry an MSRP of $29.99 when it arrives September 20th. Gotta say, this caught my eye. It's a card game, but it looks pretty impressive. Looks like it's kind of an engine building game. I'm a big fan of those. The little tableau building, possibly. So it looks like there's a lot going on in this game, and it's not just a card game where it's sort of like, yeah, I've got my hand of cards, I'm going to play this. So this could be very cool. I'm almost tempted to reach out to DPH Games to possibly see about reviewing this. Like I said, it really did catch my eye. I'm just always a little uncomfortable reaching out to companies that I have never dealt with before, who really probably don't know me from anybody, and trying to, score a review copy of something. I just feel weird about it. Feel like I'm, showing up with my handout, like, hey, gimme. I'm a gimme that. Give me that. Anyway, so definitely check this out. Like I said, looks pretty interesting. This, I do believe, was a successful Kickstarter as well. Wet the old whistle down here in the Duct Tape Studios. So this October is going to see the release of Chronicles of Crime 1400 from Lucky Duck Games. I've got the dope. You are Abelard Laval, a knight sworn to King Charles VI the Beloved. You live in the city of Paris in a family mansion not far from the famous Notre Dame Cathedral. Since you were a child, you had strange, prophetic dreams in which you saw violent scenes of past crimes or even ones yet to be committed. Over time, you learned that your unusual gift could be put to good use, and you started to solve crimes that nobody else could crack. This earned you some reputation in the city, and now people seek your help whenever a mysterious crime is committed. The new Chronicles of Crime 1400 standalone game brings back well-known mechanics while adding some new twists. Now you can deduce not only from the evidence you find or the testimonies given by various characters, but also from the mysterious scenes depicted on new vision cards. These scenes can be either from the future or from the past, and they usually involve characters and objects yet to be revealed. During your investigation, you can also count on your family members to share their knowledge with you. You can ask your uncle, a monk who has a wealth of knowledge about written texts, your sister, a merchant who knows something about almost any object you'll find, or even your brother, a king spy, who knows a story or two about many of the people you will meet. Finally, your faithful dog is always willing to trace a suspect for you. Just bring him an item belonging to the person in question, and he will track them down. This is part of the Chronicles of Crime Millennium series, which I believe is 1400, 1900, and 2300, I think. Chronicles of Crime is back with a range of games called the Millennium series. 3 new here we go, right here. 3 brand new standalone Chronicles of Crime games. Working with the same great system, same great taste, but providing interesting gameplay twists and refreshing universes that span an entire millennium from 1400 to 1900 and finally 2400. There we go, 2400. All three games are standalone, but will offer connecting narrative threads for players to discover. Chronicles of Crime, in English, Jeff, Chronicles of Crime 1400 is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays in about 60 to 90 minutes. There is no MSRP info available just yet for the game itself. I think this looks kind of interesting. You know, if you're a fan of Name of the Rose, who that was wasn't that Umberto Eco? I think that's how his last name was pronounced, Eco. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's who it was. I know that book is like one of the most read books in history. So I think there's been more copies of that sold than a lot of other books. I think it's like in the top 10 in history. Pretty wild. Pretty interesting book, too. I remember the movie with Sean Connery and Christian Slater. Wasn't Christian Slater his like acolyte or whatever? Good movie. Good movie. Anyway, if you're a fan of that sort of setting, you might dig this. Anyway, here's the other weird thing, though. I do know Board Game Geek is showing that this doesn't come out until next year. Now, I got the September release date from a distributor site. So I'm not sure who's more knowledgeable here, the actual distributor or Board Game Geek. So I do not know. Do want to mention, I believe there is also a big like bundle for Chronicles of Crime, the original game, that is out there right now. I think it's like $100. So if you are a fan of mystery games, definitely take a peek. I have not played any of the Chronicles of Crime. So I do understand that there's an app involved. So you need to have an app. But I think you just need to download it. You don't have to be connected online while playing the game, which that's cool. But I don't know how much replayability these games have. I don't know if it's like this is a cut and dried case that once you solve each of the cases, that's it. You're not going to play it again. I have no idea. Anyway, so kind of cool. I personally, just the whole 1400 setting piques my interest. So I'm not necessarily all that good at mystery games, but I think this sounds pretty cool. All right, let's move on to some PC game news because this week's free game over at the Epic Game Store has arrived. I've got the dope on Torchlight 2. Torchlight 2 is filled to the brim with randomized levels, enemies, and loot. Capturing all the flavor and excitement of the original, Torchlight 2 expands the world and adds features players wanted most, including online and LAN multiplayer. With 4 classes to choose from, you'll have a variety of playstyles at your fingertips. Each class can be played either male or female, with customized cosmetic features and looks to make your hero stand out. Includes multiplayer. Play co-op with your friends via LAN or over the internet for free. Our matchmaking service lets you connect and play games with people around the world. I don't know if that matchmaking service is still around. We'll discuss in a minute. It features an open world. Explore the vast overworld and multiple hub towns of Vildaran. Fight through rain, snow, day, and night. Rain, snow, sleets. You're the post office. You're the U.S. Post Office. None of that's going to stop you. There is level randomization, which ensures new layouts, paths, loot, and monsters every time you play. There's also New Game Plus. In New Game Plus, the game's not over until you say it is. Once you've beaten Torchlight 2's primary campaign, you can start again with the same character for a significantly greater challenge. You'll keep all the skills, gold, and gear you worked so hard for. Also features pets and fishing. Thank God there's fishing. These popular features make their return in Torchlight 2 in improved form. More choices, better effects, and your pet will still make the run to town to sell your loot so you don't have to. Also features mod support. Use Guts, the Torchlight 2 editor, to create and share your work with the entire world. Only through Windows, though. Right now, you can score Torchlight 2 absolutely free on the Epic Games Store through July 23rd. I've always heard good things about this game, especially playing it multiplayer co-op. But this game is like 8 years old. I was kind of like, wow, kind of surprised that Epic Games. Let's be very honest. Free games are cool. I am not complaining about free games at all, especially well-received games. But the freebies from Epic Games, there was a point in time for about a month when like everybody was, a lot of publishers and that were in the midst of their, stay at home, play at home kind of stuff. So they were giving out free things and, digital downloads, so on and so forth. There were some big hitters that came out for free on the Epic Games Store, including Grand Theft Auto 5. I guess we got spoiled because it's sort of like, oh, Torchlight 2. Okay. The company that made this game, I'm trying to remember, was it Runic? I think it was Runic. I think it's Runic Games. They're no longer in business. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if there's any sort of matching servers out there to put you in games with other people. I think you need to have your friends all get together. But pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Even though, like I said, the game is about 8 years old, it's still a very well-received game. Okay, let's move on into some role-playing game news. I gotta admit, it's kind of weird. I think a Gray Day might be the only person hanging out in chat tonight. I am going to take a quick peek before I jump into the other news, the next news piece, because, all right, where are you? There we go. It's not unusual for, well, okay, I shouldn't say it's not unusual. I mean, it has happened in the past. That chat just drops off. So, but, okay, well, all right. So the stream's still going. So we're good there. Actually, we have no drop frames tonight so far. So a Great A says, I see 3 thumbs up. Yeah, people popped in. We're like, yeah, okay, watch 5 minutes and they're gone. Which actually, when I finish up the news, we'll chat a little bit about a couple of funny things, in my opinion. But, I don't know. I have an odd sense of humor sometimes. Anyway, if you've been holding out on checking out the second edition of the Pathfinder role-playing game from Paizo Inc., then hold out no more, as the system is the focus of the newest Humble Bundle. Here's the dope. Last month, Paizo reiterated its commitment to diversity and racial justice. Today, which was yesterday actually, we're launching a new Humble Bundle to support these values. The Pathfinder 2nd Edition Humble Bundle supports 3 nonprofit organizations dedicated to supporting people of color. A portion of every bundle will benefit the Carl Brandon Society, the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund, Inc., and the National Urban League. Claim your physical copy, yes, you heard that right, physical copy of the Pathfinder 2nd Edition core rulebook, in addition to the digital versions of the First Bestiary, Lost Omens World Guide, and enough adventures to keep you and your friends entertained for hours of epic gaming around the table or on a virtual tabletop. At the $5 level, $5. $5. So a Great A says, say Humble Bundle 3 times. Humble Bundle, Humble Bundle, Humble Bundle. Hopefully that was okay. Anyway, at the $5 level, you can score PDFs with highlights such as the core rulebook, the Fall of Plaguestone Adventure and Flip Mat, and as well as 8 other digital goodies. There is, I would say, about half of the downloads are fiction, but they're like novels. I mean, they're not like little short stories or something. I believe these are Pathfinder novels. At the $10 level, you can grab the Lost Omens World Guide, the Pathfinder Society Adventures Port Peril Pub Crawl, say that 5 times fast, and Trailblazer's Bounty. I think it's Trailblazer's Bounty. There might be a misprint there. Also, 4 flip mats and more. For a $20 donation, you grab everything previously mentioned, plus the first bestiary, the Lost Omens Character Guide, the Pathfinder Society Adventures Flooded King's Court and Tarnbreaker's Trail, 5 flip mats and maps, and more. Finally, for $30, you get the whole shebang, plus the physical core book. Yes, you heard me right. The physical core book. I do want to mention you have to pay for shipping on the book. The $30 does not include shipping on the core book. But off the top of my head, isn't the core book like $55 normally? Thereabouts? I'm not positive. I'm telling you right now, for $5 and getting the core book, that's insane. Because I think even just the core book is like in PDF, I think it's $17.99-ish, somewhere in that vicinity. These savings do run through August 4th. And once again, don't forget, your purchase is going to support the Carl Brandon Society, the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund, Inc., and the National Urban League. So I got to say, this is a smashing deal. This is an awesome deal. I would have included this on yesterday's show. In fact, we kind of talked a little bit about this in chat on yesterday's show, but Paizo got me the news later in the day. So unfortunately, I've learned my lesson. Do not try to squeeze things in last minute into the show, because I just end up messing something up. Like, I might start the show off and not have the correct date up in the corner or something. So I figured I would just wait until today. But yeah, that is a smashing deal. That is a rocking deal. I like the Pathfinder 2nd Edition. I really do. I think it's really nicely done. In fact, I will have my Game Master guide review. I should have that this weekend. I've got one more news piece, but and I would show off the Game Mastery guide, because that's what it's called, Game Mastery Guide. And but it's upstairs because I've been reading it. Anyway, but do yourself a favor, grab this PDF sale over at Humble Bundle. I mean, that is a smashing deal. Even if you don't want the physical core book, for $20, you're getting a lot of stuff that's already been published. The one thing you are not getting are the adventure paths. So there have been two complete adventure paths, I believe, since 2nd edition arrived, because 2nd edition arrived a year ago. In fact, it was a Gen Con release, wasn't it? I think it was. Could have swore it was. I don't know. I swear, this pandemic, just every day it's just one day stretches into the next, which stretches into the next month, and so on, and so on, and so on. Let's wrap up with my final news piece, because there is a new Star Trek adventure available for free from Modiphius Entertainment. Here's the dope on Kobayashi Maru. Today, we're delighted to announce the release of a new Star Trek Adventures mission, giving you a chance to test your mettle against the classic no-win scenario, Kobayashi Maru. And best of all, it's free. for all Star Trek Adventures players. The Star Trek Adventures Kobayashi Maru supplement is available free to download in PDF at DriveThruRPG. Test your mettle against the classic no-win scenario. Attention, cadets. Now is your chance to step up and attempt the most important test of your Academy career. When a disabled freighter near the Klingon neutral zone sends out a distress signal, you and your crew must respond. How will you fare during the Kobayashi Maru scenario? And no hacking into the computer systems and cheating. Done. This standalone 15-page PDF adventure by Joe Creel is for the Star Trek Adventures role-playing game and is set during the original series era. This adventure also contains advice for adaptation for use in campaigns based in other Star Trek eras. We hope you enjoy this latest Star Trek Adventures release and look out for more great Star Trek Adventures supplements arriving later this month. Which include iconic villains and the Enterprise Crew PDF supplements, bringing awesome new allies and adversaries to your campaigns. Once again, you can score the 15-page PDF adventure absolutely free right now at DriveThruRPG. Yes, the Kobayashi Maru. I downloaded it. That's how I got these images. So, kind of interesting, kind of cool. I would be curious to take a peek at this because I would guarantee that there has got to be something in that adventure supplement talking about like how Kirk defeated it, which he really didn't. He cheated. We all know that, right? It's not a spoiler, is it? Movie's like 105 years old. I don't think I'm spoiling it now, right? Do want to mention, though, whenever I talk about DriveThruRPG, the Gaming Gang and thus the Daily Dope are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit, say, for an example, DriveThruRPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com, click on one of our banner ads, and that way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. And all those little portions really add up and help keep the Gaming Gang around. Also, should mention right now is the Christmas in July sale. So you can save at just about all of the drive-through sites. DM's Guild, Storytellers, Vault. Wargame Vault never really takes part in any of these sales and that. I don't know why. It's all part of the same. It's a One Bookshelf site. But drive-through cards, drive-through RPG, drive-through fiction, drive-through comics, all of these are in the midst of their Christmas in July sale. Drive-through RPG has, I want to say, more than 55,000. Yes, you heard that number correct. Gaming PDFs for up to 25% off. This is one of the better sales that drive-through does during the year. This one, there's the one right at like their Black Friday is usually pretty good. It's around 30% off. But this is one of the big ones. Oh, what is it? Game Masters Appreciation Day, which is like a 2-week sale. That's also a really good sale, but they're like site-wide. So take advantage while you can. The sale runs for about 10 days. So don't miss out. All righty. So the news is done, but I was going to mention that I have to laugh because I know sometimes when I include news pieces from companies, smaller companies, you know, I don't want to say indies, but, you know, smaller companies or newcomers to the scene. A lot of times somebody from that company, when I tweet out that, hey, you know, these are the companies I've got news from tonight on the show, they'll watch the show. Somebody from the company will catch the show. They'll check it out. And I swear, I bet you a lot of them are going to like, what is this? What the hell is this thing? Who the hell is this guy? Yeah, I know. What can I tell you? So, anyway, I've got some videos. So, okay, so if you remember, yesterday I had mentioned talking about somebody had talked about on Twitter about how they don't appreciate the fact that so many reviewers will release coverage of a particular game all at the same time. And it's like, well, sorry, that's just how it's going to be, because everybody knows that if you sit on something too long, nobody's going to watch your videos. And one aspect of trying to get companies to support you so you can do reviews of their products, they take a look to see, how many subscribers does your channel have? How many views do you get? I try to explain to people that this show, my videos and stuff like that, are not really the big driving force. It's the website. It's the website itself is what people know me for, because pulling about 12, 15,000 unique visitors a week to the website, and that's a lot. But so I had mentioned yesterday, I wasn't sure how many people were going to tune in to check out my first look and page through of Mythic Odysseys of Theros for Dungeons and Dragons, because this has been out digitally for over a month, both on D&D Beyond, Fantasy Grounds, and Roll20. So as of me going live, the video which I put out there yesterday, because this showed up in the mail yesterday. So I did my page through right away, my first look. I haven't read this yet. So anyway, so give you an idea, the last first look I did at something was Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, I think it was. Yeah, I'm almost positive that was the last D&D first look that I did, which that was not released digitally ahead of time. I had, in the first 24 hours, I had over 700 views of that video, which I know for most people, that's no big deal. For Dice Tower, it's like, if they got 700 views in the first 24 hours on something, they'd be upset. You're like, what's wrong with YouTube? Is YouTube broken? But for me, it's like, wow, that's pretty damn good. So this Mythic Odysseys of Theros has had about 75 views in the first 24 hours. So I had a feeling because it had been out digitally that a lot of people who were like super pumped up about it had already checked it out. So anyway, it's no big deal. I just, I mentioned that yesterday, that I was kind of like, hey, I get a feeling that this might not bring in a lot of views, unlike most of the D&D stuff, because some of my all-time top D&D, or I should say all-time viewed videos, have been Dungeons and Dragons products. But I do have kind of a challenge going on right now, because I did my review of the Enemy in Shadows companion for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay for Cubicle 7 Entertainment. I should say from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. And I also did my review of the Keeper's Rulebook for 7th edition Call of Cthulhu from Chaosium Inc. Now, once again, I mean, this has been out for a long time, so I don't expect this to pull in tons and tons of people. And the fantasy role play, I don't know. I think in the long haul, it'll pull people in, but just not right off the bat. But the funny thing is, they're running neck and neck for a number of views, which I think is kind of funny. It's because I really dig both companies, right? I really love Cubicle 7, and I'm a big fan of Chaosium, and I'm certainly very happy that they solved their issues that they had that was, on the verge of putting them under. So I'm very glad to see they've righted the ship so well. But I thought that was kind of funny. They're like, right there, right on top of each other. So I'm kind of curious which one's going to pull in the most views, say in a month. Is it going to be Call of Cthulhu? Or is it going to be the Enemy in Shadows companion? Or will Mythic Odysseys of Theros just come out of nowhere and people suddenly start checking out the video? I don't know. I have no idea. Tell you one recent video that has brought in a good number of views, which I will be putting together my review of this weekend. See, there's a method to my madness. I just want to kind of talk about what's coming up because I've got more videos arriving before Monday's show. I'm going to share my review of Scooby-Doo, Betrayal at Mystery Mansion, which is from Avalon Hill. It's really Hasbro. So I will have my review of that. This is actually my first look at it. Has been pulling in a good number of people. I will also review the Game Master screen and supplement, which is included for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. I am reshooting my overhead video for my review of the alpha because I've kind of switched up my camera setup. So I think I can probably get a bit sharper action with this as well. So a Great A is asking, is that a new Avalon Hill logo? No, they've had this logo for a long time. I mean, as far as I know, this is the Avalon Hill logo they have had since Hasbro started releasing titles that had an Avalon Hill branding to it. I think, don't they release Axis and Allies? Don't they? Isn't that released as Avalon Hill now? I'm almost positive it is, even though it really, wasn't that Milton Bradley originally? Well, okay, I take that back. It wasn't originally Milton Bradley. Originally, it was some small boutique wargaming company. And then Milton Bradley bought it because I remember seeing the original Axis and Allies being played. I was in high school. And I remember these guys were at this community center that used to do a kind of like game weekend we went twice. It was every 6 months. And it was in Oak Park, Illinois, which was not, it's a suburb of Chicago. It's right next to Chicago. And it was actually right near my friend Elliot Miller, my best friend Elliot Miller's house. So all of us stayed at his house every night, almost all of us, and then went to this thing in Oak Park. And I remember these two guys were playing Axis and Allies, and it was a small box game, and it had like a paper map, paper board. It had counters and stuff. It was not miniatures, little miniatures or anything like that. And I remember it was Axis and Allies. I don't remember who made it, but we were like, hey, that looks kind of cool. Yeah, boy, I tell you, back in the day, we had some cool like game day things that would go on. That were just, awesome. Just, I mean, looking back, I mean, they don't compare to any kind of convention of any size, but it was pretty cool. The game day that it was a weekend. It was like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it ran till like midnight. And it was, I think it was just called the Oak Park Community Center, but it was super cool. We had a blast. We had a great time. That was where, if you watch the show a lot, I talk about the time that we were in this kind of like Dungeons and Dragons tournament, and there was a time limit, and it was, we needed to come up with the answer to this riddle. And we actually did come up with the answer to the riddle, but the kid who was running, and of course we were kids too. We were high school kids. I think we were sophomores, maybe juniors in high school. Had to keep running back and forth to this other room where his older sister, was running the same adventure, because there were like 4 games going on at the same time. And we ran out of time because he wasted so much time having to go ask her stuff. So I've mentioned that a couple of times. And I remember Elliot was super pissed because he was in a different group who he was like, he was like, I know the answer to it. I know the answer to the riddle. And the other people around the table, because he wasn't playing with the gang, his friends from high school, he got stuck playing with his other group. Everybody was like, yeah, whatever, man, whatever, dude. No, blah, blah, blah. Blew him off. And he was right. And they could have won. And there were like prizes. I don't think they were anything a big deal. I think there were like some games, but yeah, kind of funny. Kind of funny. So a grade A says they purchased Risk Godstorm, which had an Avalon Hill logo to it. Really? Huh? That's pretty wild. Yeah, I wish, like everybody else out there, I wish Hasbro would release more of the classic Avalon Hill stuff or try to update it. They just, they would rather just sit on all those IPs and be like, whatever. Yeah, sorry. Although they have kind of loosened up a little bit in the past few years. We've got that Dune remake that's on the horizon. I don't think it's hit yet. And they allowed the original designer of Upfront release the files that you can get print on demand after the whole fiasco with that Kickstarter where people got ripped off for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So they've loosened up a little bit, but I wish they would, Hasbro, we've mentioned this a few times over the years on the shows. A lot of people don't realize that Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons, so like the whole like Wizards of the Coast, we'll include Avalon Hill with that as well, makes up such a tiny percentage of Hasbro's revenue. They don't care. I mean, there's been discussion of just shutting D&D down and just selling it out as licensing. I would hate to see that happen. That would be really weird because I believe they would just completely shut down Wizards of the Coast, period. Which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because Magic does outsell Dungeons and Dragons by quite a big margin. So I don't know. But there was not too long ago, a few months back, there was some grumbling that Hasbro was considering just saying, enough about the D&D. It's too much a pain in our butt. But anyway, moving right along. That is it for tonight's show. Kind of, I don't know, did about 43 minutes or so. But, yeah, I don't see anything really cooking in chat. Kind of weird. I gotta say, hey, grade A, this is like the most quiet chat we've had in months. Pretty wild. Must be something exciting going on. I have no idea. Anyway, I know there are a few other people who are watching live. They just don't necessarily jump into chat, and that's cool. I don't mind. You can hang out and lurk. A grade A asks, has I heard? Let's try that from the top. Have I heard anything about the Star Wars RPG from Fantasy Flight Games? I have not. I don't really follow FFG that much for a few different reasons. Number one, they don't need my promotion whatsoever. I'm just, another voice in the ether as far as they're concerned. And even back in the day when there were not many people covering tabletop gaming, and the Gaming Gang was one of them, it was super tough to get review copies out of Fantasy Flight Games. And we had a really nice relationship with them. It's just, it was, the person that we dealt with, it'd be like, you'd ask, oh, yeah, I'll get it out. And then nothing would show up. And then you ask, oh, yeah, it's, I completely forgot about that. I'll get that out to you. And then you'd still not get it. So, like I said, anyway, plus once Asmodee gobbled them up, it was kind of like, okay, these guys, I have nothing against Asmodee. I will share news of games that are coming out from various companies that they own. It's just, once again, they don't need my promotion whatsoever, right? So I feel that I should devote my time when I'm kind of looking into interesting items out there. I would rather sit there and tell you about Inca Empire, the card game, than something that's from FFG. I'd rather sit there and talk about how you can save huge amounts of money and score a bunch of stuff for second edition Pathfinder from Paizo Inc. than talking about Fantasy Flight Games. So, yes, I do know a Great A's pointing out that, yes, it moved to a studio in Spain called Edge Studio. I know nothing about them. If it is a European publisher, that's usually, believe it or not, that's actually usually a good thing. Now, I'm not saying that Fantasy Flight Games, produced cheapo RPG books, because I got to be honest, I have not seen them. I have seen them from a distance, but I have not held one of the Star Wars role-playing game rule books in my hands, page through, look through, anything like that. But usually the European publishers put together really nice books. They really, really do. So but I don't know anything about Edge Studio. For all I know, they could be a studio that has Ulysses publish their products, because I know Ulysses does a lot of the European RPG market as well. It just doesn't say that it's Ulysses. So, but no, I don't. I don't know anything. Secondary market prices are on fire for that. Oh, I believe that easily. As soon as that decision was made, yeah, I'm sure those prices started to squeak up. Interestingly enough, on a side note, somebody had reached out to me. I think it was on Twitter, and they were asking about the One Ring role-playing game from Cubicle 7 Entertainment and how come they couldn't find it anywhere. And they were trying to find Laughter of Dragons, which is an adventure supplement for it. And I thought, I don't want to say it's funny, but I thought, well, talk about bad timing, because up until last month, or it may have even been the first of this month, Cubicle 7 Entertainment was still selling the One Ring. Their license was running out. They were everywhere you turned around. They had the One Ring on something in PDF as a special. They had it on Humble Bundle. They had Bundle of Holding. So here now, what could be weeks after it's no longer on sale, somebody contacts me and they're like, do you know how I can find this? And they said, I have an impression maybe you've got a copy you could send me, which sounded kind of weird. It was like, so are you asking to purchase my copy, or are you just asking like I'm going to send it to you? I don't think they were from the US or North America. I kind of had an impression that English was probably a second language. But I said, look at the secondary market, check out the secondary market. And of course, until we see the new edition come out, we're going to probably see those prices a bit higher too. So the One Ring stuff is probably on the secondary market not going to be cheap. So I don't know. Now I can't remember who's coming out with it. Oh, Free League. Free League Publishing is going to release it. But I don't think they have any plans for anything for that until sometime next year. So there's that. All right. So there you go, Grade A. I apologize. I know absolutely nothing about what's going on with the Star Wars RPG. Just like I know nothing about Genesis, what's going on with that, which is weird because didn't they just come out with like a Key Forge setting book for Genesis? The kind of generic role-playing game system that Star Wars is built on? I don't know. Do not know. So, like I said, I always hear the Star Wars, I keep almost saying Star Trek, because my teleprompter is sitting there with the last news piece, which was the Star Trek Adventures Kobayashi Maru So I keep almost saying Star Wars. I've always heard it's a very cool system. People who play it really, really enjoy it. To me, it struck me as another one of these systems where it's kind of like FFG was trying to make you buy tons of books for it, which is, I guess, sort of how it is nowadays, but still. Anywho, all right, for those of you like a Gray Day, and I think there's like 4 or 5 people who've been watching live, thank you very much for hanging out and watching live. Always appreciate, so I know I'm not just speaking out into the, into the ether, into the interwebs, and like echo, echo, echo. Oh, are those crickets I hear? But of course, if you watch the show after the fact, maybe even on Memorex, I certainly appreciate that as well. We are closing in on 1,000 videos from the Gaming Gang. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. This will be, I think this now leaves us 5 short. I'm going to double check my numbers. And I know for other outlets, you'd be like, 1,000 videos, big deal. It's kind of a big deal when I'm the guy who does almost all of them, the vast majority of them over the years. So anyway, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel. And if you do subscribe, ring that notification bell. It'll tell you not only when I stream the Daily Dope live Monday through Thursday nights, I'll also tell you when I upload other videos as well, such as my upcoming review of Scooby-Doo Betrayal at Mystery Mansion. All right, I am wrapping up my week because there are no episodes of the show on Friday nights. So everybody enjoy their weekends. Have a great weekend. Have fun. Stay safe. But I will be back on Monday. So everybody enjoy the rest of your Thursday night / Friday morning. I will see you next week. And as I tend to close out during the pandemic, let me once again remind you to please be smart and stay safe. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. And of course, if you want to catch up on past episodes of The Daily Dope, check out this playlist. And if you'd like to see what YouTube's recommending you take a peek at from the channel, just give a click right over here. Of course, I'm Jeff McAleer, and once again, thank you very much for watching.